Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Well, it's a continued rotation out of the leaders and into the laggards. We're seeing it again here today. But let's start with the overall market because this overall market just continues to hold up despite whatever the bad news is. ADP wasn't that great. Market don't care. Just keeps holding up here strong. We're down a point, Joel.
Right, made a new high for the move yesterday at 1594 and a quarter, eclipsing the old high of 1593. Globex high 1595.50. So you got resistance there. That's the only resistance I can keep an eye on. Coming back on the downside, only minor support here at the overnight low. We're just kind of hanging there. Minor support 1588 and a quarter. Then you got to look to Tuesday's low at 1581 and a quarter to find any major support.
Stock of the day looks like disaster. Stock of the day is going to be Merck. They report 85 cents versus 79 cents, beat by 6 cents. Actually announced a $15 billion stock buyback, trying to offset their lowered guidance because they lowered guidance for the full year, and that is why the stock is taking a hit here in the pre-market. Lowered 345 to 355 from estimates up at 363, so they actually beat by 6 cents. So obviously the next 2 or 3 quarters are not going to be that great here. They're really kicking the tar out of this one here in the pre-market. It's trading down over $2. Huge move here for
That's
Merck.
huge move for Merck,
Huge
man.
move for Merck, down
Huge.
44.78 right now after closing 47. This has been one of your leaders, been one of your stronger stocks here in the first quarter of the year, first 4 months of the year. I guess we've passed now. It's not going to be one of your leaders here today. It's going to be your biggest dog of the Dow, and this rotation out of the leaders into the laggards is continuing here.
Yeah, 44.61 is the low that we've hit just a few minutes ago. Getting a slight bounce here. I call minor resistance here at the $45 level. Looking at the charts here, we've already taken here. We're right here at this 45. We are trading below it. You did have a couple lows there. I use that as a swing number. I think you get back above 45 and you can perhaps tread a little bit here, in the 45 range, maybe up to 46. Didn't spend a lot of time there in that area, so should be some nice volatility. Coming back on the downside, you had a low at 44.42 on April 2nd and a little nickel gap to fill there. So that would be another good level of support. But here's just another one of the big boys, one of the stocks, high flyer in the first quarter, drug stock, bites the bullet on the earnings. Look what happened to the Pfizer, the Bristol Myers. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a little bit of a trend, but the market don't care.
Yeah, the market just rotates and finds other things to buy. Like we've been saying, money isn't flowing out of stocks, it's flowing into other stocks, and they are picking up the laggards. Let's talk about the pharmaceutical sector just a little bit further here because they're all starting to look weak. Obviously, Pfizer's earnings yesterday were not good. We said, we probably didn't see this thing if it got anywhere near $30. We thought there'd be sellers. Exactly what happened yesterday. 29.87 the high, pulled right back after that. Trading down here again today on the bad Merck earnings at 28.80. That low from 3 sessions ago is
Gone.
28.79. I think that's going to get taken out here today. I do not
Yep.
like these pharmaceutical charts whatsoever. If you look at the Lilly, if you look at the Bristol Myers, they're all like Bristol Myers looks like a complete breakdown here now in this one. These have all turned. There was basically everybody had to be in these stocks about 5 to 10 trading sessions ago. Now people are nervous, and now people want out, and they're rotating. They're saying, "Put me into these dogs," and we're going to get to a few of these dogs in a second. But
New
those,
low in the SPOs here, Daz. Just real quick to interrupt you. Just made a new low in the S&Ps here.
yeah, we're down a point here. We fell another point. But stocks like Apple, this was, everybody had Apple for dead. It broke through 400. People were saying it's going to go to 300. It got ridiculous there. Bring up the chart on Apple. Ever since then, straight up, all the money flowing out of the farmies, flowing out of those consumer products like Procter and Gamble, is flowing into stocks like Apple. They are buying the dogs of the first quarter and selling the leaders of the first quarter, and that's really what's this rotation is
And
happening.
and And what stock hasn't even had
J
a
and
chink
J,
in?
man, it holds up. It's a consumer products. It's a pharmaceutical company. It has all of these components to it, but it will not break. It is stubborn. We've been talking about this. I think if this stock gets anywhere under 84.80, it's got room to fall, but it's stubborn. You got to give it relative strength. I mean, it is holding up despite every stock in its sector getting whacked. Like Procter and Gamble, we said already, has been beaten up. We talked about the pharmaceutical companies getting beat up. This is basically, tied in with all of those companies, and it's holding up quite well. I don't know when J&J. It's breaking down a little bit here this morning. It's
Yeah,
down.
just look now. It's just trading down
It's
in the
trying
pre-market. Not a lot of volume.
down
Of
30
course, it's going to
cents.
break down because I was going to do a blog on it today about how it may break down, and now it's going to do it. And
They're gonna beat you
then
to it.
I'm going to have the blog, and it's going to be irrelevant.
Yeah, they're gonna beat you to it probably.
It's a big area, though, folks. Keep an eye on this 84, 81 level. That was the low that you had back on Monday. We're trading right there in the pre-market. I'd say that stock could be 84 before you bat an eyelash.
Let's talk about some of these other stocks that are starting in the first quarter. Alcoa, for one, AA. Bring up
Oh,
the stock chart on this because this is actually starting to look stronger too. Quietly has rallied from 8 to 850 in the last 5 trading sessions. Is showing some strength here too, Joel. I know we're getting into a little bit of a resistance area, but we just want to show you this rotation. Everybody obviously didn't like Alcoa. Made a new low of the year basically 10 trading sessions ago when it broke through $8, got down to as low as 790. But it's bouncing. It's finding buyers. I mean, yeah, you look at that chart and it's like it still looks like crap. But there is, this short-term trend higher on these stocks. Alcoa, stocks like Radio Shack here starting to look like they're forming a bottom here
Radio
again.
Shack. They're still in business?
Yeah, they're still in business, and it's actually, holding up here. It's forming some nice base here, basically in the low $3. I'd love to see the stock get above the 333 high that we had there 6 trading sessions ago, and start to break out too. I hate these companies from a fundamental perspective, but from a trading perspective, people are looking to buy these dogs, and it wouldn't surprise me if they start even X. Did you see the rebound? Bring up yesterday's trading in AUS Steel because that stock had a huge rebound. It was way down off the hop. Obviously found buyers and they bought it all day, closed positive. There's a bogey here. If you get above $18 on this thing, I think it goes into breakout mode too. So if the trend continues, if they continue to sell the stocks that were the leaders in the first quarter and the laggards, these could be a few stocks that have the potential to move higher and even potential for a short squeeze as well.
You know what? This kind of reminds me of the old cat.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
this was the earnings day.
Yep.
They took out that size at $80, and it basically rallied up 5.5 points to
Yep.
85.50, 85.38, 85.50, the highest in the last 2 trading sessions. Keep an eye on that if you're trying to lock in some profits from this 5-point move. Another dog that just continues to move up. John Deere had to come up and fill the gap that it had from April 19th.
What a move there. Wow.
Yeah, 9.
Incredible.
A lot of these things. Ingersoll Rand is probably that's still lamenting down here in its lower trading range. But yeah, Dennis, you've been talking about that sector rotation, and it's definitely coming to fruition.
CHK had earnings here today, and it's been one of your biggest dogs basically for the last 2 or 3 years. They beat 30 cents versus 25. Stock is up 70 cents on 700,000 shares. Here's another one. I think if this pulls back, I think it's going to find buyers for the same reason because people are looking for a home for cash. They're like, what's cheap out there? Get me in cheap stuff. This is cheap. I mean, you're getting what you buy when you're buying cheap stocks. But short term, it's starting to look like these stocks could find some bids. And obviously, CHK is up 89 cents here this morning on the good earnings report.
2069, just hit that in the pre-market, so we're just pulling back here about 50 cents to 2020, just under that, finding some support at 2015. I mean, this stock has had a couple false pops. I believe there's some disclosures, some large positions by big investors, but you're looking at this 2007 high that you had, and then you had a 2036 high, also backed up by the 2055. I think you could get back above and hold this 2050 level. You got a chance to go up and test this 21.
Couple other ones we're going to fly through here. Joel will get a little more detail there for our live listeners after, but for regular show here. Humana reported earnings 269 versus 181. It's up a couple of bucks. I'm just going to kind of fly through these. MasterCard, actually we should stick on MasterCard. They beat by 6 cents, 623 versus 617. But here's what we've been telling you: they're selling the leaders. Even when they beat, they're selling the leaders. This is down 12 bucks here today. Closed at 552.93, which was a new all-time high for MasterCard. Got a little bit of a lift after hours, then reported earnings here this morning, and they're knocking it back down, basically giving back its entire gain from yesterday. Visa reports tonight too, so keep that one in mind. Visa actually trading down only a buck right now, but when MasterCard is getting whacked on okay earnings, it makes you a little nervous with Visa as well.
I'm looking
Comcast.
at
So go ahead.
just real quickly. This Mastercard had this big run up yesterday. Made, I believe that's a new all-time high. Then it spikes and then it comes back down to 540 in the pre-market, 540.94, giving it all back. So I'm thinking this 540 area is going to be a huge level. I mean, if it can hold here, then it's still good news about the earnings. You go back and trade, up in this quadrant. Can't hold 540, Dennis. I think you're looking at least 535.35 here. Nothing there between 540 and 535, but it's just interesting how it's had this pop and it's come back all the way down to yesterday's low and it's holding. So support is support until you get long and it gets whacked.
Time Warner TWX support was support, and it's getting whacked here too. Good earnings for Time Warner too, 82 cents versus 74, a nice beat. They missed on revenue, so I don't think they like that. They don't. When these stocks have run as far as like Time Warner has, this was a $46 stock. It's up at 60 at the beginning of the year. When they miss on the top or the bottom line, they usually smack them, and that's what's happened here. And Time Warner is getting smacked here this morning. 58.50 is where it's trading at right now. There's a bad tick there. That's 55.90. That was just a cross, but 58.50. So it's down $1.30 here on an okay earnings report, okay bottom line, but the top line wasn't great.
Yeah, 58.24. Hit that in the pre-market, just kind of hanging in here. Keep an eye on. We have this nice little low here at 58.01. That's a quarter below the current low. So if you come down, I think you'll find support in this area and get a chance maybe to come back, test the $59 level. Below 58, Dennis, you do have some minor support around 57.50. Two lows at 43 and 47. And then you fall back under to the $57 level. But 58 is going to be a key number today in Time Warner.
A couple other ones. Amgen is getting upgraded at Goldman Sachs here, so they're going to fight the trend because money, like we've been saying, is flowing out of the pharmacies, flowing out of the biotechs. While Amgen's up $2.57 as Goldman upgrades it with a conviction buy. On the chart, I can see, they're trying, like you were saying, they're trying to hold that 104 level. You think it's a technical upgrade here where they're trying to put this double triple bottom thing in place. It is going to get a pop here, so probably going to hold on okay here today, but again I still a little cautious here because money is flowing out of this sector right now.
Right. The pop that you're getting right now is going to take you up to yesterday's high, which is 106.66. So that's going to be a key level. We've had two pretty good down days. I think if they can't hold this 106.66 level off the hop here, I think the Goldman upgrade goes by the wayside here. Also, you have another high above that at 108.38. But this is one of those where you want to see an immediate follow through yesterday's high at 106.66, or I think we get flat down to close below 104 in this thing, and you're going to be looking at the figure.
Facebook reports earnings here tonight, Joel. This is a stock that has been one of the laggards of the first quarter as well. It was up at $32 in January. It's been down and found support in the $25 area. Last 5 or 6 sessions is another one that has been finding money. It is continuing its up move here ahead of earnings here today. Facebook, what do you think going into the report here tonight? Are they going to beat it here, Joel, or what's going to happen?
Gosh, the only thing I can rely here is on the technicals. I'm really not sure if the new product that they had going through one last quarter is going to, show any significant change in earnings this quarter. 28.22 is the high that you hit in the pre-market, getting that boost on a possible addition into one of the indexes. 28.10 was the high that you had on April 11th. That was the area that you hit after sneaking under the $25 level. We've got up there nearing the pre-market, so I think you could see some sellers in the 28.10 to 28.20 area looking to lighten up a little bit ahead of earnings.
Overall market thoughts were down 2 points here, pulling back a bit. Like we said, there always seems to be a stock getting bought. Yesterday was very mixed, but again, we're seeing this overall flow out of the first quarter leaders and into the first quarter laggards. That trend may continue, it may not, but despite that, the market just seems to hold on. Like we said, the ADP numbers were not great today, but they really didn't smack the indexes down too far. A lot of large sell imbalances here today, which is holding the index down a little bit as well, but we're only down 2 points. We ever going to see 1600? Is this going to march up here eventually?
Man, I think it's just going to be a slow grind. I think with the kind of the negative tint to the earnings today, it might take another day or two to get there. You just have to keep an eye on 94 and a quarter, which was Tuesday's high, 95 and a half, which was the overnight high. That's going to be major resistance. Coming back on the downside, like I said, 88 and a quarter is minor resistance, or minor support, but no major support until you get down to Tuesday's low at 1581 and a quarter.
That's our regular show for today, guys. Have a great trading session, and we will be back with you tomorrow.